So actually, this is A minor, and so that's 4 cents sharp. But because the ear is hearing that as a fifth being upwards, you can just stretch it. So I stretched it. I stretched the first one. Oh. And by that time, I'm in another place, you know?
Okay.
So it's very intelligently done. It wasn't a bluff. It was very well calculated. I'm very clever. But just to show you this, but basically there are 4 chords that take you from E to G half
Hay
sharp.
4 acordes que nos llevan de mi a sol sostenido a sol medio sostenido.
And the way that I get away with it is by using just intonation, like using intonation from the harmonic series and stretching it to my advantage.
Okay.
So yeah, so some of the voice leading here is just like insane. That kind of shit. It's like, it's quite gnarly. It's quite gnarly, but if you get into it, so I can find a really juicy one. That's a good one. So yeah. That's a new note, and then another. So it's funny because, like, you know, I'm recording my room, and I leave the door open, and my family is just like, "What is he singing?" Like, my mom was like, "Are you trying to sing in tune?" I was like, "Oh," and it's just like, you know. No. Anyway, it was worth it because G half sharp is this champion key. It has to be said. And actually, just very quickly, for the end, because the end of the song is very reassuring, I went back down. But I did it very cleverly. So, and then, voila. We're in G major again, but back here. So. And we're back in G, you know, so again, like, you know, you watch the video, you listen to it, and you don't think like, what's going on with the tuning? You just think like, okay, we're home, we're going home. Because it's really important to not think that the point of this is the crazy technical stuff. It's not. The point of this is the feeling that I get when I get in G half sharp and when I go down to G is absolutely wonderful. And that's why I do it. I'm not trying to prove some technical thing here. I'm just trying to make it feel the way I want it to feel. And so it's very important, just as a last point, it's very important to make that clear, because I think a lot of people, you know, like when the negative harmony video went out, everyone was like, whoa, you know, this guy's crazy. And it's funny because you know, when I was a kid, I wasn't the virtuoso kid. I was the kid who had all the ears, but I didn't have any chops at all, none, no chops. Poor Jacob. I couldn't, you know, I could hear everything. I could hear the harmonies, but I couldn't play the stuff because you know, having not studied classical music and stuff, I just didn't have the technique. So still to this day, my technique is very patchy. Like, there are lots of things that I'd like to be able to achieve that I can't, but I've got a way of playing things that works for me, and most of what I can hear I can cover, not all of it. My process of learning is always that my hands are trying to catch up with my ears and my mind. Yeah, so it's weird now because I kind of represent a generation of like chops people, which is very, very strange. I can't tell you, because for most of my life I was the person who understood it, but going like and executing the stuff, like, you know, my mind's always been very fast, but my hands, having not been trained, have always just been clambering to try and catch up. And so, you know, that negative harmony video went out, and everyone sort of thought like, man, Jacob like studied really intensely as a kid, and like he's got all these crazy chops. And you know, I did immerse myself in musical theory concepts, but I hated theory as a kid. It was horrible. It was like the thing I least wanted to do was sit down and talk about Roman numerals and all this stuff. Like, you know, it took me to personally want to learn about music theory for myself. You know, like I was trying to find a way to get this chord more exciting, right? So it's like, how can you do that's exciting, or that's exciting? And then I thought, well, there must be more. So there is, you C major, and like, okay, so this note C sharp in C major. So I thought, well, no one's talking about that, so I have to make my own word for it. So this is why I came up
Do
with
sostenido sobre
super.
do mayor. Nadie me habla de eso, entonces tengo que hacer mi propio mundo.
Yeah, so this is why I came up with the super Lydian thing.
Super lidio.
Yeah, because this is like a sharp 15, and then this is like a sharp
Como una
19.
quincena sostenida.
So, yeah, so
Diecienovenas sostenida.
So, yeah. And you're in C. You're still in C. So,
Y estamos en do todavía.
yeah. Anyway, these sounds, like, look at the difference between this sound and this sound. Super insane, huh? So, yeah, so this is C, E, G, B, D, F sharp, A, C sharp. Yeah? And then this one is fourths.
Cuartas.
Yeah. So for me, this is major and minor. Minor is fourths. This is C minor, and then C major is this. But F in a C major Lydian chord.
Fa en un do mayor lidio.
This really crazy sounds. And honestly, like I didn't know why jazz people weren't talking about it, because jazz people are all about like, let's get the most extensions, and all these kinds of chords. Like, but no one was doing that. No one was doing that, which I didn't understand, because it makes all the sense in the world. That's G F B, D sharp, F sharp, F sharp,
Okay. G.
G F B,
Okay.
D
Sol,
sharp,
fa, si,
G B.
si.
Oh, sorry, B for you is the same, right? That's
Yeah,
weird.
si.
Yeah. So G F B, D sharp,
Re sostenido.
F sharp.
Fa sostenido.
Yeah. So you get these weird sounds, and like, but well, makes all the sense. This example is not that. This example is just that in jazz, this chord doesn't exist.
En jazz este acorde no existe.
But because it has an F sharp in it, this is G7.
Porque es un sol dominante que tiene fa sostenido.
But B major, G7.
Tiene como si mayor sobre sol.
C. But just that sound. Yeah. Since when was that? Oh shit, sorry. That a chord, like no one did this unless they you could validate it as like, oh, it's like a secondary dominant because D7. But like no one was doing that. Is not a valid chord. This amazing sounds, and Britain was all over this, man. Benjamin Britten, the composer from England, he was all over this. He would come up with the most amazing sounds. Like this kind of sound. Like, and in jazz, this does exist. It's like a 11 chord or something. But that as a sound.
En jazz un acorde con oncena.
Yeah, that as a sound is, for me, was a lot more interesting than like, which was like a jazzy chord. Like. But suddenly you get like, so you get these jazz cadences, and you go like very good, yeah. Okay. But if you go like, it's like now we're talking. It's just colorful, like this chord. That is no name. There is no name for that chord.
No hay nombre para ese acorde.
And I've spoken to Herbie Hancock about this, funnily enough.
Estaba hablando con Herbie.
Because there's a tune that Wayne Shorter taught to Herbie called "Don't Follow the Crowd." He goes, that is,
Este acorde es
that chord is A major 7, sharp 5. A major
Es
7,
La mayor con dominante
sharp 5. Oh,
con
yeah.
quinta aumentada.
And that is going there. So major 7, sharp 5 being used as a dominant chord. Like, this is interesting stuff. And if this is like crazy theoretical for a second and it's scary, don't panic, because basically what I'm saying is that you can take sounds like a triad. Triad is 3 notes. A major triad is one of the most commonly used sounds we have, and you can stick that triad anywhere you want, and it's a strong sound. So, you know, yeah.
Es La mayor, ¿no?
Yeah, so that suddenly becomes a valid cadence, because when you do arranging, all that really matters is that you illustrate the cadence correctly. You know, where do I begin and where do I end? And then it's just to do with finding the right way to get there. So, you know, yeah, I'm going to D flat and I can go, and then they let me into jazz school, you know,
Okay.
and then I can also go, which is the negative version of that, the plagal cadence. Yeah, so, you know, in jazz you have this thing, just to go over the negative harmony thing for a second. So 3, 6, 2, 5, 1, you guys know about this? Yeah.
Tercero, sexto, segundo, quinto, primero.
Yeah.
Todos conocen.
Yeah, very, very great, yeah. Okay, and that's fantastic, and you know, absolutely lovely. You can have great fun with that. There's a thing that folk musicians often do. Oh yeah, the folk thing is, if you're in a key like this, then going like, it's just so lovely, and that's called a plagal cadence.
Esta es la cadencia plagal que suelen hacer mucho los cantantes folk.
So yeah, plagal cadence, and so this is G major, and we're going C, G.
Es como el sol, do, sol.
But then if we go, yeah, so F, C, G, yeah,
F.
F, C, G.
Bien, fa, do y sol.
Yeah, so, and suddenly that is as valid as like,
Bien, todo esto es válido.
yeah, and you can obviously, you can stretch that really far. You can go, you know, like, that's, you know, 3, 6, 2, 4, 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Okay, yeah, so let me get there. So this is G, we're in G major, and this is C sharp minor 7, F sharp 7, B minor 7, E 7, A minor 7, D 7, G. This is a normal one. So in negative harmony, how many steps was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So F sharp, B, E, A, D.
Si, mi.
Suddenly I can even go from even one more. So sorry. Yeah. So actually, I've just realized that this is C sharp is our starting point. So C sharp,
Do sostenido.
we can go to get to G, or we can go,
Podemos ir de esta forma.
which is, so, do you guys know about the circle of fifths?
¿Conocen el círculo
So-
de quintas?
So C sharp, F sharp, B, E, A, D, G, yeah? Or C sharp, what? D flat, A flat, E flat, B flat, F, C, G, yeah? So this is the perfect one, and this is the plagal version just using major chords is. Oh no, is that right? No, it's the wrong way. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. So. Yeah. It's really heartwarming, you know, like. Yeah. So it's a bluesy, it's folky, it's bluesy.
That way you were going up in fifths.
I was going up in
C
fifths.
sharp, F sharp, B, E.
Yeah, so C sharp, A flat, what?
A.
D flat, A flat, E flat, B flat, F, C.
Oh, you were going to the flats.
So
Sorry.
so I'm kind of going down in fourths
Ok, estaba moviendo descendente por cuartas.
instead of up in fourths.
En vez de ascendente por cuartas.
Yeah. So what negative harmony is? Negative harmony is a term coined by a man named Steve Coleman, who is a very famous jazz educator who was very important in the 80s for jazz education. He has sort of founded and represented a lot of very, very crazy music theory concepts and brought them to the fore. And one of the things that he says a lot is this thing about polarity. and
Habla de
symmetry.
polaridad y simetría.
So symmetry is one of the most important things to the whole of humanity. We've always loved symmetry. We've always tried to seek it. It's very, very interesting to think about something being balanced. So in harmony, there are lots of different ways you could achieve this. And Steve Coleman unearthed an amazing book called A Theory of Harmony, which is by Ernst Levy. And Ernst Levy talks about polarity in harmony with classical composition. The book is about how do you achieve cadences. How could one invert cadences to give the same amount of gravity to the key center, but from the opposite direction? So there are lots of different ways in which you could do this. Ernst Levy talks about this one axis. There are lots of different axes that are possible. One possible axis is between 1 and 5 over key center. So if you're in C major, you can flip every single note over this axis. This is what negative harmony is in terms of Ernst Levy. So what you have in C major. So if this is the axis is actually like, which is bang in the middle of E flat and E, because that's halfway between C and G. So we're in C major, and imagine this as a mirror, and every single note is going to go over the mirror and reveal the inverted cadence, but with the same gravity, because reflections maintain gravity, but they change the chord. So this is what Ernst Levy is trying to achieve here. So for example, C, so the most obvious way to get to C is G7, yeah? So G7 being this chord. Right, or you could also do this one. But anyway, G7 traditionally is this. So what we're going to do is we're going to rotate every note over the axis. Don't worry if this sounds crazy, because I'll explain it. So G becomes C, because the axis is G to C. So G becomes C. B
C
becomes A flat,
se convierte en la bemol.
because if you flip it over, you get there, okay? So we have C and A flat, and then D
Re
becomes F,
se convierte en fa
and F
y fa
becomes D.
se convierte en re.
So what was this becomes this.
Se transformó en
Okay. Now we know this sound. This is
D half diminished. This.
it's kind of like F minor 6.
Okay.
So C major, and either we go like this, we go like this, yeah, or we go like this, yeah. And everyone knows that feeling. Everyone knows.
Fa menor sexta.
It's very sweet. Very.
Whenever we change the key, you change also the axis.
Yes, yeah. Well, if you take it on a purely tonal basis, like we're in this key and we're flipping it over this key center, then yes, you would change the axis. If you're in E flat, then yeah, B flat 7 becomes A flat minor 6. So this concept is originally a melodic concept. So yeah, if you take C major and flip it over the axis, you get, which is what Ernst Levy calls C negative major. And what it is it's a F phrygian descending from F, because every interval is inverted. So tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone becomes tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So anyway, so this is Ernst Levy's idea, is that you can have this is inverted and becomes this, and you can do like Happy Birthday. Yeah. Becomes what is it? Yeah. Basically. Yeah. There it is. Yeah. Then becomes, or whatever it happens to be. So you get this weird other melody, and in jazz improvisation, it's really interesting if you invert the chord changes to a song, and then you blow over those changes, and then it gets crazy because it's like, but they arrive at the same place. And as I said before, it's like the arrival is so crucial that you can almost do anything to arrive in a place. And so what negative harmony gave me was basically another method of arriving in a place. So everything perfect, like so, becomes plagal, and everything major becomes minor.